Hi everyone, thanks for joining. We're here today to talk about what's new in Word 2016, and I'm Patti Smerk with Simplex-IT. A little bit about Simplex-IT. These are the companies that we work with and the partnerships that we have. Cisco and of course Microsoft. There's several others, so if you recognize any of these or have any questions about any of these technologies, certainly please let us know and we can help you out. Speaking of what we can help you with, we'd like to be your IT department or at least help your IT department. So if you can answer yes to any one of these questions, certainly please reach out to us. Give us a chat. No strings attached there. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up here in 2015. So the next webinar we'll be doing will be next week, actually a week from today, talking about what's new in Project 2016, and I'll be doing that. November 24th, we're going to talk about what's new in the Skype for Business. So Skype for Business is starting to make some changes. Probably the beginning of December, they'll be available to the E1 and E3 subscribers. The biggest change that Bob will talk about will be the addition of the phone numbers. So I know some people have experienced difficulties with the audio through Skype and Skype meetings. So it'll be nice to be able to provide participants a phone number to call into as well. And then sometimes it's also nice to listen into Skype meetings when you're not in front of a computer or if you don't have a smartphone. So you'll soon have that capability. And then in December, we'll talk about Excel 2016. We have our annual Geek Raffle. That's a lot of fun on December 16th, where we go out and buy fun toys and technology stuff and let people bid on the on the toys, and all the proceeds go to the Hattie Larlin Foundation here in Northeast Ohio. So it's really a fun time. We usually do that around lunch, so please come out and join us for that. And then December 17th, we'll talk hopefully about Microsoft Planner. I should have put tentative next to this one because I was hoping to hear something from Microsoft by now. But Microsoft Planner is the new project planning tool that Microsoft is releasing. It's supposed to be a scaled down version of the other project planning tools that we use. But I haven't heard anything yet. So I'm kind of going to wait for maybe a week or two. If it's not released in time, we'll do something else in December, and then we'll talk about Microsoft Planner in January. But if you participate in the in the PM webinars, keep an eye out for that one, either in December or January. Please check out our new website. I'm sure you've seen this slide. We put up a new website, gosh, back in August. And we're still, of course, ironing out some of the content because there's a lot that we want to be able to provide you. But the thing that I wanted to draw your attention to would be the news and events, and then also the blog. So we're trying to be much more active on our blog and also social media. But you can probably count on at least a couple different blog entries a week from us. And then the news and events, there's a nice calendar there that we're working on building out. So you'll be able to see all upcoming Office webinars and all upcoming project management webinars, and then all of our events and everything right from that calendar. So that's under the calendars, under news and events, and then also, of course, the blog. You'll be able to see our blog articles. And then we're trying to get more involved in social media, so please follow us. We don't want you to miss any announcements of fun events. So please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, whichever is your favorite. We'd love to see you and give you some updates on what's coming from Simplex-IT. So speaking of Simplex-IT, who are we? For those of you that don't know us, Simplex-IT is basically your virtual CIO. So we'd like to handle your IT needs. Hopefully, if you're a current client of ours, we are handling them, and if not, we would like to handle your IT needs. Simplex DBA is Doug is heading this up, and it's working with your corporate data. So making sure that your corporate data is working for you. Simplex PM is what I head up in addition to these office webinars. So trying to help project managers at the small to mid-sized companies get a little better at project management in general, using the tools, getting a handle on what a project is. So sometimes we think that project management is only necessary for big, huge projects, but that's not always the case. We can use good project management methodologies and skill sets in any project. So that's what we're trying to do in Simplex PM. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Word 2016. I hope you were able to join us last month when we went over Office 2016. So we sort of talked about an overall, all of the features that were new to the different Office products. And then I want to kind of take a deeper dive into each product, into each app, and talk about their own individual updates in 2016. And I will tell you that some of the updates in Word are, they're not mind-blowing. I feel like Excel got the most of the attention in upgrading to Word, in upgrading to 2016, but I still think that we should talk about Word. Some of the things that are my favorite are the ones that are kind of quick and easy and save me time. So I tend to use a couple of those more so than the big overhauls. One of the things that I like and I use a lot is sharing files. So it's very easy in the 2016 version of Word to share your files, OneDrive or SharePoint, which would include Office 365, of course. You can share your documents, invite people to view or edit them. Once they accept that, they can make changes to your document if you allowed them to edit. And then you can also watch each other make those changes real time. So it's called co-authoring. Very similar to Google Docs, if you've used Google Docs, where you can kind of see the changes that the other person is making in real time. So really nice. And then also if you, let's say that you aren't working in real time, somebody else is working on it overnight and you work on it overnight, and then you come and realize that you both made changes to the same thing, but yet those changes were conflicting. So you made changes to one thing, but you both changed it. You changed the word dog to cat, and your coworker changed the word dog to fish. So what do you do? So in that case, when you open up the document, you would see that there's a conflict there. So you would see that, oh, you changed it to dog, they changed it to fish, or cat, whatever, and you can control which one you want to save. So and the owner is the one that does that. So the owner has control of what's actually accepted during a conflict. So really neat stuff. Some other new features in Word 2016 are version history. So the versioning has been enhanced. Now right from the file menu, you can see version is an option. You can see the history of the changes that you made. Very nice if you need to be able to quickly see, oh, this was great the other night before I added, these 4 pages or something like that. So very, very nice to be able to look at your different versions visually. Smart Lookup, imagine that, allows you to look up stuff from your Word document. So as you're working in your Word document, you can highlight a phrase or a word, and you can use Smart Lookup. And that's basically just going to look it up online. It'll look through any wiki articles. It'll do a Google or Bing search, and it'll return the results right there in Word. So it is nice. It saves you a little bit of time in going back and forth between programs. And then, of course, Tell Me is available in Word. So just like the other Office programs, Tell Me is available. It's in the ribbon up at the top, and you type in what you want to do, and then it'll return a list of all the options that meet what you had just typed in. So I'll show you that too. So let's take a look. Let me switch back over to Word. And I had just created a document here before the webinar. So here, welcome to the Word webinar, and now I'm doing some typing and working. And then let's see, the first thing that I wanted to show you was the share option. So here, I can click share up at the top, in the top right. And when I click on share, I can select who I want to share this with. So I'm going to say I want to share it with Zoe in our office. And I'm going to say that she can edit this document. But if I wanted her to just view it and not be able to edit it, then I would select Can View. But I do want her to edit it, so I'll click Can Edit. And I'm going to type in, you know, a little personal message. Here's the new document. Can you add something? And then I would click Share, and Zoe would get a notification saying that I've shared this document with her. And she would have access to be able to go ahead and open that document, view it online, and make changes because I said that she can edit it. If I make more changes, I can select if I want to automatically share those, and I can say never or ask me. So once I share this with her, if I want her to be able to see any more changes that I make, I want to select always. I don't know why I'm there twice. But at least you can see what it looks like when there's more than one person editing your document, even though I don't know why it's the same person listed there, but it wouldn't be a webinar if everything worked perfectly, right? So here you can see, obviously, everybody who has your document open. If somebody says, you know, hey, Patti, I don't know where to find this. Can you send me a link? There's a quick, easy way down at the bottom where it says get a sharing link. If you click on that, you can either choose to create a link for giving somebody the rights to edit the document, or you can create a link for just viewing only. So just like that drop down up here, can edit or can view, the same thing goes here. So get a sharing link if you want to edit or if you just want to view. So I'll say just view. Just want to give them the option to view it. And I should get a link for that. And now it's very nice. I get a little copy button, so I could copy that and put it into an instant message or an email for somebody. Just be sure if you're sharing it outside your organization, just be sure that the appropriate rights are in place at the higher level. So for example, let's say that I wanted to give this give viewing rights to somebody outside of my organization. There may be things in place within my organization that I'm not aware of that prohibit anybody from outside my organization to be able to view this. So it may not work in every case depending on how your administrators have things set up. So just a word of caution there: if things don't seem to be working right, check with one of your admins and make sure that it's not a rights issue. But very easy to create links there. And like I mentioned before, if you were sharing a document and you were both making changes, if you had any conflicts, you would see that here. You could actually compare them side by side and accept or reject whichever version you wanted to go with, or option you wanted to go with. The other thing I wanted to show you is the version history. That can be accessed, let me just close this share window. That can be accessed under the File menu. So if you go to File, or I should say Menu, Tab. So if you go to the File tab and go to History, you can see the different versions that are available to you, and you can click on these to roll back if you wanted to. I didn't have to close that previous window, but it just would have kept kind of bumping them over to the left, and I wanted to be able to save the room. So here, if I wanted to go back to how it was this morning when I first created the document, I could click on that, and that would take me back to my previous version. So if I wanted to compare the two, I could, or I could restore. I say, oh, this is exactly what I want. I'm going to restore it to this version. And it's saying, you know, be careful because you haven't saved your current copy yet. So I'm going to say, yes, I do want to save that, but I still want to restore. It's doing that for me. And for those of you who have used SharePoint in the past, that may look familiar to you. Versioning and version history are very very common and much used in the SharePoint world. All right. The other thing that I wanted to show you is Tell Me. So Tell Me, go ahead and delete these. And let's say that shoot. The other thing that I wanted to show you is Tell Me. So Tell Me is one of those things that I was talking about earlier, where it's kind of the kind of a goofy little addition, but I sure love it, even though it doesn't seem like a big mind-blowing change or addition. But the Tell Me What You Want to Do up at the top, all you have to do is click in there and type in what you want to do. So I'll use this one, insert picture, save me from typing. And then it'll come up and ask me which picture I want to insert. Or I can just click in there instead of using my recently used ones. Maybe I want to type in, I want to insert a picture. It actually is smart enough to perform that command when I click on it. So it's not like help where it's just a text or just a description. It's actually, when you click on it, you're actually doing the insert picture. So here I am smart enough to bring up my pictures directory as well. So let's say I'm going to insert my Simplex-IT logo, and there you have it. Now, the one thing I will caution is that you have to know what you want to do when you're typing in Tell Me. So, for example, if I wanted to resize this picture, I could type in resize, and I'm not really getting a whole lot of options. I have resize diagram, but once it's selected and I click resize, I'm sorry, I type in resize, then I have some more options that are available. So keep in mind that whatever you have selected on the document will also determine what you can do in the Tell Me. So I'm going to say I want to crop it, and I want to say I want to get rid of that lower line there. I think that was a screenshot there. I'm just going to enter, and there you have it. If I wanted to make this smaller and I typed in shrink picture, it might pick it up. The more you type in, notice how once I started typing in picture, it kind of started to pick up what I wanted to do. But just a word of caution with that. If you're not getting anywhere with what you're typing in, try a synonym of what you want to do. The last thing that I wanted to show you then is the Smart Lookup. So Smart Lookup is very much like Lookup. So let's say that I'm working on my document and I'm typing in some text. You can just right click on it and choose Smart Lookup. And that'll show you over on the right hand side all of the results from your lookup. So here I have a Wikipedia article about Thanksgiving. I've got some image search. I've got some image results from a search, some web searching, and then of course these are all links, so I can click on whichever one I want, and I can view that wiki article. So it's very nice if you're working on a document and you don't want to go back and forth, if you're trying to find some information and keep finding yourself switching from Word to Bing, typing in your search and then having to copy things back and forth. So it is very nice to have it right here. I will tell you, if you don't have a big screen, or if you're working from a small laptop, it does take up a little bit of room. On the screen that you're viewing here is a pretty big desktop monitor, but if I were on my laptop, maybe I would prefer to switch screens and just do my searching manually. But that is Smart Lookup. All right, so let's see. We talked about Smart Lookup. We talked about versioning. We talked about Tell Me. We went over quite a few things with sharing. We talked about how to share view only and edit, and how to create those links, and co-authoring. So a lot there. Do you have any questions for me If you do, go ahead and type them in the chat window. As you're doing that, let me show you if I try to share this document. Notice that I don't have it saved in any co-located area. I just have it saved to my desktop, I believe. I may not even have saved it yet. Nope, just probably saved to my desktop. So it's somewhere on my local machine. And I know that because when I tried to share it, it's saying, hey, you can't. If you want to share, save a copy to an online location. So save it to your OneDrive or your Office 365. So I'll say, okay, I want to save it to the cloud. And then here I can select where I want to save it. I'll say, all right, I'll save it in my Simplex-IT sites. And then once I do that, let's see, I'll just put it in marketing for now. Once I do that, I'll be able to use some of those features since it's in a cloud location. Now I did just get a question. Thank you for asking. What if, so does the person have to have Office 365 to view this document? The answer is that it'll be a lot easier when you do share if you're sharing with people who have Office 365, because then they can always select the shared with me option and be able to see all of those files. However, I do believe you can give access to somebody who doesn't have Office 365. So as long as it's not prohibited by your, by your company and by your policies, you should be able to share that. Thank you. Good question. All right. If there's any other questions, please type them in the chat window. I'll keep an eye on that. As you know, during these webinars, we like to give away fun stuff. So today we'll be giving away a 1-year subscription to Office 365. I do want to remind you that next month we'll talk about Excel 2016 and what's new in Excel. And like I mentioned earlier, most of the I think Excel got a lot of attention in the in the 2016 upgrade. So we'll talk about Excel next month, and then I'd like to talk about Outlook then in January's webinar. So look for those. Again, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, so you don't miss any of these topics. And let's see, what's a good way to give away this Office 365? How about, it'll involve your chat window, so go ahead and get ready. How about the first person who types in their chat window the feature that they're most excited about in 2016? So I'll give you a minute. Type in the feature that you're most excited about, and the first person to get that submitted in the chat window will win an Office 365 subscription to the Office 365 Home Edition. Okay, great. It looks like Susie Sharp was the first person to respond to my question about their favorite feature of Word 2016, and Susie's favorite feature is sharing. So she's looking forward to sharing. Susie, congratulations. I hope that you enjoy your subscription to Office 365. Thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you again next month for Excel 2016 on December 12th. Also, if you attend our project management webinars, don't forget that the Project 2016 webinar is next Thursday. Thanks everyone.